Hello, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 17 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Just Trials and Tribulations. Darn, almost did it again. Last time, we accused Luke Atme of being the Kane board's murderer, and we're now cross-examining him. Anyways, let's move on. Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist? Naturally, the lie is in the photo. In this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane board. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lord Lee Taylor at this time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was the statue placed besides the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Oh, so on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Or rather, Luke Atme in his long nose in a rocking chair factory. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did to make the room match the way it had been in the photo. Gah! Order! Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer! According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set by the Lord Lee Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage the data was yours. Now, how long would I have allowed you to tamper with it? Oh, order! Mr. Godo! What is the meaning of this? Godo! I warned you about making me wait! Now put down that coffee! My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial, which means I'm still good to the last drop. However, the defense is a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on the road of infinite points. I think you got your point linked up with your other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea, however. There's one point that can't be denied, which is that it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor! Hey, Mr. Demask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Demask, there should be no problem with your telling us your strategy, so let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn. Now for this one! I believe we already have that one. Basically, in the calling card, recall that it says speckled urn, though no one had seen the urn until recently. I first received the request from Lord Lee Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box, and Savari! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, worth $0 and 0 cents, so I sent to my car 10 days beforehand. And then I handled security myself in order to ensure that my crime would go smoothly, that I would be like a cobra snake in the tree. At last, I had the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 20th. That's pretty much all that we heard before, is it? Yeah, but we will finally find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information you gave. Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time? Somebody! Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may now begin your cross-examination. Now, basically, it's the calling card that we're going to be using as evidence. However, I'm not sure which one we press. If you couldn't see it, how could you send the calling card? Mr. Atme, if you really are Master of the Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course! Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master of the Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn.
Yes, that is true, but so what?
You know, look at me, he could have gotten away with his plan had he not been so smug and wrote speckled. Literally, would it have been too hard for him just to say, take care of that special urn? Or that beautiful urn? Or that glorious urn? Or that fabulous urn? Then again, if he wrote fabulous, he'd have to capitalize it and put 5 exclamation marks. Truth be told, there's no way that Master of the Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to the Lordly Tailor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Wright. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or shall I say, an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Adme had seen this urn but long before the crime took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. Sorry about that force habit. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Yeah! I don't even know what that scream is. I can't really scream in the Kokichi voice. Yeah.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Alright, that's it. He's broken. I broke a man!
Nick, I think it's a little early for a victory pose.
Huh? Go to, I'm going to ruin this man's career. Actually, no, that's not appropriate. Godo can't say that. Ha! It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days.
Conviction, you say?
Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Master of the Mask, and now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle?
That's a good point.
He's Judge Fickle! Well, what do you expect? No, wait, don't fall for that, do, Your Honor! You say that Luke Adme was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that?
An excellent point!
Motive, Mr. Wright! Motive! Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest?
Nick, he's getting a second wind!
If he prepared an alibi and pinned the crime on Ron DeLay, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder.
The only one with any motive would we've seen is Ron DeLay. And CzarThwomp, you're not throwing my voice up. Isn't that right, detective?
Indeed,
According to my own research, that boy's motive is clear!
Without a motive, it's sure nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us to what the defendant's motives were.
Thank you, sir, old-timer!
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Motive for murder.
Look at me! I had no point of contact with the victim whatsoever. Can anyone decide to investigate Master of the Mask and simply mistook who he was? It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master of the Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw fit to kill Mr. Bullard. Truly a tragedy.
So the victim came bored, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter.
What? Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
Literally, Luke wouldn't even have to do this roundabout strategy. He could have just killed Kane Bullard and then just left the body there. No one would have suspected him. Heck, all he had to do was say, hey, you know what? Send a calling card, and then the mask doesn't even come. He was secure the whole time. That would have been his alibi. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atomy and King Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in their report.
Perhaps they were connected through their heart. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was not.
In any case, the only one with the motive was Mr. Delight.
Mistook.
That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an error.
That wasn't what I meant.
Just who did the victim mistake Master of the Mask to be?
Why, the answer is obvious.
Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Press harder. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master of the Mask?
Don't you already know that? Zavali!
Take a look at this newspaper.
Oh-ho! That's the famous Tear of Ammonon, a magnificent jewel.
That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, doesn't it? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant.
The defendant?
The victim clearly misled the article and Zavali! He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Master of the Mask.
I see.
That was an unusually reasonable deduction.
You mean this blackmail letter is right here?
It says, bring $50,000.
And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it.
But I don't see an address E on this letter anywhere.
An address C? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated time and place. The fact that there is no address C is irrelevant. I wonder.
What's up, Nick?
I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight?
Whoa! Do you have any evidence for that?
For some reason, I just can't shake that feeling. That there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. It's the red jewel part. It's got some spittle on my computer screen. At least it's not blood spittle this time.
Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? Otherwise, I will sing you my weekend boogaloo.
I'm gonna press everything though. Just to be on the safe side. What do you mean by that?
Oh my, I was certain you already were! Somebody!
Kane Security's a lot of security of all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, I sold data from the company.
Kane Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing that he was the thief.
Here is a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail.
However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Master of the Mask?
On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of coincidence.
Do you really think that story's gonna hold up?
That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid.
What do you mean? I have a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desolate Wright.
Rana thinks he's Master of the Mask. Don't give yourself on, please don't think too badly of him.
Ha! Well, Mr. Wright.
Was he trying to act like Mr. Delight just now? I thought he was actually being convincing.
Okay, let's move on. Now that's just your imagination.
Come now, sir lawyer.
I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning.
Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves?
No. It's a long story and better saved for another time. Over crumpets and tea. And weekend bagels.
Very well, another time.
Those so-called long stories aren't usually all that long, at least not in my experience.
So you're going to try and connect the FBI and Mr. Bullard, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. And
In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail.
that's true. What's that blackmail letter really intended for Ron?
Since we don't have enough information, you should provide some more testimony.
Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. Okay. Oh, this is one of those testimonies that just gets you. Okay. Okay, there we go. Good. Phew. For a second, I thought we were going to go into a spiral. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Adme?
Well, if it's just
A few. I guess it's alright. I am a very knowledgeable man who learned many a subject on the weekends, which I post to my internet blogs. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Doyle, oh, what was that just now? I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us just what you got there, Junior? And then Phoenix just is like, with pleasure. He then walks up to Godo and just punches him right in the visor. Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradictory evidence in this. Anyways, you gotta show him newspaper clipping. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. Because you gotta show the blue gem. It contains a picture of the Tear of Ammonon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this the problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing colors myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means, the red diamond described in this blackmail letter is not the Tear of Ammonon that started Mask Show at all.
Objection.
And your point is, Mr. Wright? So you are trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Wright?
That's what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. This is who Kane Boy was actually blackmailing. Naturally, it was you, Detective Adme.
Do you have some sort of basis for this claim?
You have been personally involved in every single Master of the Mask case, and in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. That is the diamond referred to in this letter, which means that Kane Bullard wore that letter in order to blackmail you.
Yeah!
Order in the court. Order, I say.
Objection.
It seems you have gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trent. Uh-oh, I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing you got me? Are you for real? Yes, I am.
Yeah, come on, stand up to him.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world.
Yes, it certainly does.
Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atmy's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was his identity? Atmy killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was this identity he wanted to keep secret?
That's what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Luke Atmy wanted to so desperately keep a secret was this identity as... I know it's blackmailer, but I have to do this. Ace Detective! Luke Atmy was an ace detective! Thank you for the kind introduction. I am Luke Atmy, ace detective, a guy who does things on weekends. Only but he's the various force of actors, the other the angelic channels of light.
I am completely lost. Someone get me the translator. But anyways, everyone already knows you're an ace detective.
Come on, Nick. Are you even trying anymore?
Actually, I kind of wonder myself. Kane will threaten to make Luke at... Okay. Skipping through. Take off the big boy. Putting on the big boy pants. Blackmailer. Luke at me was a blackmailer.
Objection.
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke at me. Are you saying that Luke at me was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit that's a little odd.
It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke at me. But Ron Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So did you start to receive blackmail letters starting after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tier Avanon heist! After that, I started getting the plans in the mail! I received plans from the very kind present, incredibly detailed plans! Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean Ron Delight was actually Master Damask. That is what we're claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke at me.
Shh! Silence! I like the weekend. Hee 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 hee. Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
What is?
You hate the weekend, you asshole! You like Mondays. When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you?
You say that I, Luke at me, was blackmailing Ron Delight, in which case I would naturally know all about his reaction to the Master of the Mask.
I have to just check one quick thing. Yes, darn it. For a second I thought Amy was younger. Well, yes.
Ron Delight started receiving plans on his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime.
Good point. Certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise.
In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During that first crime, how did Luke at me know that Ron Delight was Master the Mask?
Newspaper clipping. I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Mr. Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Master the Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in the bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone a haste detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master of the Mask was really Ron Delight. What the? Was he doing to the Master of the Mask?
Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective.
I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer.
What a fraud! Trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why how dare you expose me like that? Why I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a very surprised ace detective, and I'd also Master the Mask. Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid you are neither a power thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why you? How dare you even dare to imply that I could have found the blue death without even telling you so yourselves without being master of your own fools? What is that? You can correct my charge, he says. So you're going to go and discriminate. Come, right down. As detectives are the blackmail murder threats, I'll get away with that. It's enough to make one laugh.
It would seem we've finally gotten to the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme.
Yes, Luke, the only guy with 3 breakdowns, really. Pearly, please prepare yourself for Mr. Atme. I wonder just how Luke he's still posing like that.
I will keep epic until my departure.
The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence.
Allow me to say one more thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that.
Maverick would beg to differ.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright.
Where do you...
It's true that you have proven a lot of things. things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't at Lordly Terror on the night of the murder.
That's right. That's why he was the one who killed Mr. Bo.
But there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove this pitiful excuse for a man who's a KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No way! I'll keep this episode going, really. Because we're almost at the end of the trial. Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright? This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that it's at Mr. Board's office on the night.
But can you really prove that?
That's long enough, Mr. Wright. I want to hear your answer. That night, Lugami was a KB security, and the defense, unfortunately, can't prove it. I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
Because we're not going to be doing it with evidence. But if we hear more of Detective Atme's testimony, unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright. What do you mean? I wouldn't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he had committed the murder. Yes, but we also proved that he wasn't masked under mask, so his trial's essentially null and void. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as master of the mask. No!
Well, now, sir lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as master of the mask. My verdict will verify that, just as Ron Delight will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
End of the weekend.
Order the court. That's enough deliberation for the witnesses.
I can't believe this. I thought this great Ron is...
Just don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence then.
And by then, it'll be too late.
Huh? Why?
Double jeopardy. Double jeopardy, Maya. Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy?
Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is the fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else.
Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as master of the mask, which means...
he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Board is concerned.
No way!
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt to that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Board's murderer.
Guess the Phoenix Despair Sprite. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even Ron is proclaimed to be innocent. The real killer, Luke Atme, will go free.
You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. As long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I'll have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections?
Just go now, just be smoke with this cup of coffee.
Now I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme.
Objection!
Guess who's back? I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you?
Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets.
That voice, no way.
Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Long time no see, Phoenix.
Mia? This is the true power of the Kurain channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia.
Now, let's do this.
But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Playing more testimony, I can't cross-examine.
Not yet. The testimony's not over yet.
What do you mean?
Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Well, now, sir lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the detective as well as master of the mask, so I verify that. This is Ron Delight to verify that he's the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Yes, but These comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their points via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we the defense assert our right to question them. Isn't that right with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Goto?
Nothing.
Oh, sir lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late! If you think such falsehood would do anything to me, look at...
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Goto! What are you? You're betraying me! I'm here and I pumped you up as the super cool prosecutor! I made you what you are, Goto! I built you up! Gumshoe didn't build you up, I built you up!
Very well then, look at me. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance.
Yes, Chief. Last testimony. The final testimony.
Indeed, it is true that I was out at Lordly Taylor. I was watching birds in the park at night. Yes, I know, it's weird, but the bears, they come out at night. They do not sleep. The bears, they enjoy the weekend too. And I was feeding them bread that I had on a ceramic plate. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request, one involving birds. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight. And thanks to that key card and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also making a deduction from the bazaar, which Ron did only once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-starting mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And this is what will sink at me. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zavari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. That man-boy thing.
This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The judge's early remarks do not. The witness's early remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course!
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly to me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer.
Ugh. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Mr. Lawyer?
I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Mugatmi's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec! Just one chance! It seems that the party is about to begin.
Well, Phoenix?
There isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony.
So it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix, point out contradictions. Doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it.
Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination.
The last testimony. Okay, gotta find it. Come on. Master mask. Mask, start a mask. Where is it? Mr. Atme, about this last remark. You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Goto. What? Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Master of the Mask outfit, is that correct?
Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions were absolutely foolproof.
More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. Oh, burn!
I'm sorry, whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Master of the Mask when we went to the scene of the crime?
That was,
It was just a few hours ago, back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Oh, did I forget to mention before? I'm sorry, I just never had any chance to mention up until now.
That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Abney? There is no way that you should have known about that. You were in the next courtroom being tried as Master of the Mask. So then, enlighten us. It's how you know about this piece of information.
The weekend gives you all answers. It makes you omniscient.
Come on now. Come on now. The detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Master of the Mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Abby to have found that out.
Only one?
Only one way, you say. Please remember, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony.
When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there!
For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke at me. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Weekend! Where's that sack of Sacagawea dollars and Buffalo quarters? Detective Abney, you saw Master of the Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron Delight was wearing. Ron Delight's Luke Abney's blasting off again.
Oh yeah. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was supposed to create one myself during the weekend. Here I am, the tragic weekend clown.
That's the same one you gave us yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and the weekend has gone away. No more weekend in the Ace Attorney series.
One awfully complicated incident. Kane Boy was blackmailing Luke Abney, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Abney tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master of the Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan. He used the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me! I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Don't ignore me!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be?
About that verdict. I know, you never committed any murder. That's right, I wasn't going to understand that, but I really am Master of the Mask! Huh? So, thanks for trying to say I'm innocent now, right?
Actually, no! That only makes it where you're innocent of stealing the Kurain, the sacred urn. That doesn't excuse the other things you've stolen. Like the Tear of Amidon, which you outright admitted you stole. So essentially, they could just arrest Ron right now, give him a shot with Luke at me. Like you shower buddies. What was that you said? Jeopardy?
Now that you mention it.
I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia?
As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for the same crime which he was once found innocent.
There are at least 4 other crimes that he can be tried for. Then Master of the Mask is really innocent?
For now. It would seem so.
For now? And then Ron sees all then Phoenix goes back to his law office, and everything is gone except Charlie. I saw all your stuff, Mr. Wright!
Now then, the court finds the defendant.
Boy, this is really lucky. Waiter, that isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still have Master the Mask after all. October 14th, 3:35 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 4.
You did it, Nick!
Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call me much these days.
Oh.
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. On the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days.
You mean about becoming the master of the Kurain channeling school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother.
You mean Misty Faye?
Watch over it, will you, Phoenix?
Of course.
Well then, see you around.
Mia. Oh, Mr. Wright! I don't know what to say! Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much! No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all this has happened.
Come on, just be happy already!
Maya.
You've been cleared of your murder charges and got off as master of the magic boot.
But in exchange, I lost everything!
Huh? What do you mean?
Stealing Sir Carry Rage gave me security, becoming Master of the Mask! I did it all for one reason, for her! You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything! Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? And it also wouldn't help if she learned I paid the robbers like $100 each to hold her hostage. So I could rescue her. I'm sad, I know, Mr. Wright. She always said how she hates seeing criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired, gave me security and lost all that money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Master of the Mask? Yes, but it was all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together.
That's not true, right, Nick?
Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were?
You'll be fine, and Nick will improve it.
I can. I kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Light, even a bowl was broken. The Sacred Urn! Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife, she's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Ah, there you are. Mr. Light. You did, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate it, but I suppose you don't want anything to do with me anymore, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. I don't imagine that you were really Master of the Mask either.
Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you?
Larry's already waiting at the door. Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How can I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast, there's no way you could ever get away from me. Okay, now I'm imagining Ron just screaming like a little girl as he chases after him on her bike. Ah! Help me! Someone! Just chasing me! And then Mike Meekins, he's just chasing after the bike on foot. The boys are going, wait there! Wait! Don't go! Don't ignore me! I will catch you! Oh my gosh, these things are just getting weird. But didn't you say that you hate criminals? Oh, I don't hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky, like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. And a man who basically relies on the plans formulated by a sneaky detective.
Chivalrous?
I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi! Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Naked boy? Yes? I'm real glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick, Mr. Maya, congratulations!
Yes, this is the scene I was talking about. This is where we will see the true strength of Pearl, the true power of Pearly. Talk about bad timing.
Master Nick! How could you with another man's wife involve Mystic Maya?
No.
I'll never forgive you, ever, never!
Now, you will notice, if you listen to that, if you heard those sound effects, that Pearl actually slaps so, just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Now, this brings up an interesting point. If you listen to this cutscene without my commentary, you will notice that Pearl slaps Phoenix exactly 6 times. Now, compare this to Justice for All, when Franziska whipped Phoenix unconscious after she lost. It took her 13 lashes of her whip to do the same thing. So essentially, that means that that basically one of Pearl's slaps is equivalent to 2.5 of Franziska's whip lashes. Pearl has a single Pearl slap is 2.5 Franziska's of power. So essentially, imagine, like, getting slapped with Pearl is basically like, imagine getting lashed with one of Franziska's whips. Getting lashed by Franziska 2.5 times at the same time, literally. One's painful enough. Imagine 2 of those in one slap from a 9-year-old girl. That's the power of Pearl right there. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together, but I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. The Stolen Turnabout. The end. And now we get a brand new episode. Recipe for Turnabout. No, I'm not saving the game. I still got stuff to do. Anyways, art for this one. We get Godo. He's just standing there. We get Luke, Admy, and Ron just being epic. And then we get Maya looking so pissed off, like she wants to deck someone. Anyways, now's a good time to take things off. I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode of your review. If you come back for the next one, like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do as you want. I'll see you later. Bye.